Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Jamaica. We're talking about the real deal. You know, those travel do's and especially those travel don'ts. Jamaican food, local culture, common surprises, and how to make the most of your island trip. Today we're here in Ocho Rios in Jamaica for the don'ts of visiting Jamaica. And I gotta tell you, the first don't I have for you when you come to Jamaica is don't get in a hurry. No matter what you're doing, have a lot of patience. When you're going through passport control, when you're going through customs, when you're waiting for your taxi, when you're waiting for your server, your bill, your red stripe, you gotta have patience when you are here. It's very much a laid back atmosphere, and you have to have that mentality. I mean, I'm here in Ocho Rios. There's actually 2 cruise ships in here right now while we're here, and you can see the frustration from people like, hurry up, hurry up. I'm like, you can't hurry up. Right there, you gotta have the right attitude when you come to Jamaica. It's just laid back, nice, friendly atmosphere, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to tell you is don't think that their friendliness isn't real. Jamaicans are actually insanely friendly and insanely helpful people. I mean, that's been our favorite part of coming to Jamaica is just the people in general because they're awesome. The thing is, a lot of tourists sometimes feel that it's over the top, like, oh, it's fake friendliness, they just want my money. Now, if someone's asking for something, you say, no, man, I'm good, thank you, but you have a great day. They'll usually be like, hey, respect, and move on because you're showing them respect. It works really well that way. So just realize you might make some really good friends when you do come here because the people are really awesome and friendly. And if you need directions, they will help you with directions too, okay? Now, my third don't for you is don't get overwhelmed when you go to a market or you're on the beach with all the touts and salespeople and stuff like that. Because I think that's one of the things that people get really upset about. Like when you read about Jamaica, they're like, oh, people wouldn't just leave me alone. I just wanted to be left alone. Why do they keep asking if I want to buy sunglasses or something else? And that kind of upsets people, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you, like I just said, if you tell them, hey, no thanks, I'm good, I already got some back at the hotel, it's all good, thank you, but respect, I appreciate it, you have yourself a great day, that's how you kind of deal with it. Because you say, no, I don't want anything, or leave me alone. Of course people are going to get upset. Wouldn't you get upset if someone did that to you when you're trying to make your living? So do have a heads up for that. Remember, patience and friendliness goes a long way here in Jamaica. And the thing is, when you're talking to the locals, don't be surprised if you don't understand everything they say, because Jamaican or patois, you know, with the yaman kind of stuff, you'll hear a lot. Look, just slow it down. Take some time to think about it. You'll catch on to everything they're pretty much saying. Should be okay that way. But don't expect you're going to understand everything. And it's okay to ask people to repeat things. It's no big deal, all right? But you know, English is the official language here, so you're fine with that. But the Jamaican kind of patois language sometimes throws some of the tourists off, but it is kind of a fun thing. I mean, you'll still get by just fine. Remember, patience. Everything will be fine. And speaking of that yaman kind of stuff, I would say is don't overdo the yaman with the locals kind of thing. That is one thing I notice. I'm always talking to locals like a normal kind of person, like how I usually talk. But it's kind of funny because sometimes they'll stop and then they'll put a Midwest accent back at me. They'll be like, hey, well, you have a nice day today, sir. Be well. And they'll laugh and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, you're totally pulling my leg here. Because a lot of tourists come here and they're just like, yeah, man, yeah, you be good, man, yeah, me all right, man. They'll overdo it with the locals, and it's kind of rude. I mean, think about it. If you're in Germany and someone comes up to you in Germany like, yeah, I think this is good, would you like that? Or when someone comes up and does a southern accent to you if you're in the US or something, you don't really usually appreciate that. I mean, the locals here are pretty laid back, so they'll make sure you go, irie, and they'll make sure you're like, yeah, man. They'll get you to say those things, but just maybe don't overdo it with that because that can come off wrong. And one of the things with the people here, you'll notice every store you go to, every shop you might go to, market stall, restaurant, stuff like that, everyone's always like, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night. This is very much a part of the culture here. So don't forget, whenever you go in and you see people at a store, you see people maybe at your condo or wherever, you always want to say good morning, good day, always greet people because that's a thing they do here. And if you don't do it, it's really seen as kind of rude. So make sure you're being polite and saying hi to those people when you come in, saying that good morning, hey, you have a good night, we'll see you later, you know, your thumbs up and kind of stuff. It really goes a long way to help you kind of bond with the locals here. Now, when you are coming here, and I know a lot of people come on cruise ships when they come here, they go to resorts and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, do I need to get any money when I'm here? Well, don't worry, you don't have to exchange money when you come to Jamaica. They do take the US dollar as well as the Jamaican dollar when you are here. It's pretty much easy to do anywhere you go. I mean, the exchange rate will fluctuate by stall, I would say, or by location. So do have a heads up for that, but you can pay with US dollars, no problem. Now, one of the things I always recommend for tourists is don't drive when you're in Jamaica if you don't have to. And I don't mean don't drive around Jamaica. I mean, don't you personally drive here. You can, but man, driving here, it's like white knuckle. Why are people we're passing so close. There's not enough room there. That truck's gonna hit them. Oh my God, what's going on here? Why are they honking at me? Why are they blinking at me? Look, it can be quite stressful driving in Jamaica. So we recommend is actually hire a driver when you are here that will take you around, and they'll know how to drive. They'll know when they're supposed to honk, when they flash the lights, when they're gonna pass, when things are. These kind of things, it really makes life a lot easier and a lot less stressful, so you can enjoy the rum and the red stripe and the other fun stuff that's here and let them do the driving for you. I know we hired a company called Holiday Services. Their driver, Michael, he's been taking us around the last week, and like, he's become part of our family. We just really love him, and it's just such a great thing because the driver helps you connect with the locals and gives you more background. So instead of you driving around to figure things out, they're explaining stuff to you while you drive around, and it really makes it for a much better experience. Another thing I'm going to say with the driving is, if you do drive, don't freak out with the honking and the flashing lights. That's because when people are going to pass you during the day, they honk that they're going to pass. So you need to move over a little bit. And when it's nighttime, they'll flash their brights at you, like from behind, and then you move over and they can pass you, because it really is tight passing when you are here. Also, don't forget, they drive on the left here. This is a former British colony, and they drive on the left. So if you're going to cross the street when you're walking, make sure you look right. I would look right, left, right, left. I would just keep looking, because the cars here are crazy and they're not necessarily always looking out for the pedestrians. So do be careful. Also, when you are driving around, don't worry about those goats and cows you see on the side of the street. You will see ghosts, and you will see a cow or two. And you might think, are they lost? No. People own those goats. It's okay. They wander home at night for dinner. Don't worry about them. I've seen some concerned tourists about the goats. I'm like, don't worry. They're all good, all right? They're taken care of. Now, another thing, if you are going to be driving around Jamaica, a lot of people like to kind of get an idea of how long the drive's going to be before they go. So they look on Google Maps or Waze or whatever, and it kind of gives you a mile. It's like, oh, it's 40 miles to this place. Oh, 40 miles, 45 minutes. No. Don't think a short distance equals a short amount of time when you drive in Jamaica. Because the traffic and the roads, especially if you're going in the mountains and the hills and stuff like that, it will take you a lot longer. Think about it this way. 40 miles is probably going to take you an hour and a half, something like that. So do have a heads up for it. If you do want to cut a lot of time out of driving, if you want to go from Ocho Rios to Kingston, which we've done, it was, a beautiful drive. It's beautiful when you go through there. Kingston was really cool to visit, the Bob Marley Museum, all the Trench Town and the Devon House and the ice cream that's there. There was a really cool experience to go there. But we took the toll road there. And what I'm going to tell you right now is, don't think that toll road is cheap. It was about 25 US one way. So I spent $50 in tolls going back and forth, and their exchange rate they give you there is horrible. Okay, so do have a heads up for that, but it will save you an insane amount of time and headache by taking the toll road versus the back roads to get to Kingston from Ocho Rios. So I just want to give you a heads up for that one. Now, I know since I said don't drive when you are here, you're probably going to be taking the buses when you come here. And my don'ts for the buses here is, don't think that all the buses are the same. Think of it this way. One bus is a sardine, the other bus gives you Wi-Fi. Because there are definitely two different classes of buses when you go here. If you get kind of the local bus, you'll see the tinier buses on there, people packed in, not a lot of room, but it is dirt cheap to take. Otherwise, you take like the fancier buses, which have the Wi-Fi and the assigned seats kind of stuff, and the comfy seats and a TV screen and water bottles and stuff like that. There are definitely two ways you'll go on the buses, so you do want to check those out, okay? So just think, cheaper and more expensive will also work in your favor in terms of comfort, okay? You pay for what you get when it comes to the buses. Now, the next don'ts I have here is actually going to be for your accommodation or at your hotel. One thing I want to tell you right now, look, Jamaica is definitely an all-inclusive resort country, especially on the north side of the country. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't forget to do your research on your all-inclusive or the resort you're looking to go to, because there's so many options here. There's ones for families, there's ones for singles, there's one for couples, there's one for adults only. Heck, there's a nudist one here too. There's all kinds of different resorts here, and you really need to do your research. Otherwise, you might end up one that doesn't do it for you. I mean, we're not saying a resort right now, but I just saw a resort tour go by, a bunch of college students for spring break kind of stuff. Like, oh, I remember those days. That's fun. But I got my little kids. I want something a little more relaxed. You got to make sure you do your research to pick the right one for you. Another don't I have for you with the all-inclusives and the resorts, don't think the all-inclusives and the resorts are going to give you a traditional Jamaican cultural visit, okay? Because they're all-inclusives. The food, the entertainment, this kind of stuff, usually not super local. So make sure you're asking, hey, if I'm at the buffet, ask the workers there, hey, which thing is traditional Jamaican? Oh, the jerk chicken over over here. And then for breakfast, you're gonna have the ackee and saltfish. It's a fruit that looks like scrambled eggs. I'll talk about it later. Or try this over here. I mean, they'll let you know, because that's one thing I told you about. The locals are super friendly and helpful, so you just ask, they'll be glad to help you out, okay? But just know your hotel, not the most Jamaican part. So that's what I'm gonna tell you. The next thing is, don't be afraid to sign up for a tour to leave the resort. Now, the resorts will have probably stuff that'll help you sign up. What I usually find better is look online, find a tour company that will do stuff for you, and maybe you only use them a couple days on your trip, or 3 or 4 days on your trip, however long you're there. It's nice because we had our resort days when we were in Montego Bay, and now we're here exploring more Ocho Rios area. So we went to the Blue Hole and the Dunn's River Falls, and we've gone all over with them and stuff like that. It's been nice because it got us out of our like complex, of our resort, so we could see more of Jamaica, and we really fell in love with it. Because a lot of people, when they come here, they get upset with Jamaica because they only see the port and then the shopping thing by the port and then the huge lines that go along with the cruise ships. So don't let that be your only experience when it comes to Jamaica. Also, when you're looking at your hotel, if you're staying at a hotel, if they give you an advice on security, don't skip it. They're giving you that for a reason. So don't forget, if you're at, you're all-inclusive, you got your wristband, don't forget, put your passport and your wallet and stuff like that in the safe, because you don't need it while you're there. Lock it up so you don't even have to think about it. Another don't at your hotels or resorts, don't lose that wristband. Otherwise, you might have a huge fee to replace that. Because think about it, you just gave away free eats and drinks to somebody that has that wristband. So make sure you don't lose that, okay? I've noticed mine actually got ripped off, so make sure you're like, oh, it's starting to rip. Just take it to them, say, hey, can I get a new one? This one's ripping off. That'll make life a lot easier and a lot cheaper on your visit. So my next set of don'ts that you're gonna do if you go to the beach here, because I'll be honest, you're gonna wanna get into the water when you are here and lay on the beach, because the beaches and the water here are gorgeous. And my first don't for you is, don't forget to apply that sunscreen early and often. I mean, I know I'm pretty red here and I've been applying multiple times a day. You do need to bring some good stuff with you because it is a little pricey at the resorts and at the pharmacies. So don't forget to use that sunblock and reapply. Also, don't forget to bring the bug spray too, because the little midges and the mosquitoes and stuff will eat your ankles alive when you are here. And as they said, my son Liam has sweet blood, and they've really eaten him alive. So do have a heads up for that. Another thing I want to tell you is, don't think the beach is just the water and the beach. There's all kinds of great outdoor stuff to do when you are here. Parasailing, you can go kayaking, you can go on a catamaran out there, you can go snorkeling. There's reefs here, so you can go snorkeling, you can go scuba diving. If you're certified and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff you can do. There's some cliff diving you can do. Oh, and I should tell you a don't for that. If you're going to be at Negril, the 7 Mile Beach, and you're going to go down to Rick's Cafe, which is a really popular place for people to go, and there's cliffs that people can jump off of. I'm going to tell you right now, don't do it without thinking beforehand, because somebody like, oh, I'm just going to jump. Look, you got to make sure you jump right, because we have a friend of ours, she busted her teeth when she jumped off there because she went down, crunch, and hurt it. Another buddy of ours hurt his tailbone. You got to be careful when you're jumping off those things. So don't just jump. Think about it before you do that. Have the plan. Ask them what's the best way to do it, okay? And when you're thinking about the beach, I mean, that's usually what people only think about with Jamaica. My next don't for you is, don't think Jamaica is just a beach. I mean, that's actually our first thing I talked about in our Shocks of Jamaica video, was it's more than just beaches. Because I know, like I said in the other videos, when people talk about Jamaica and tourism, they all make it sound like it's just a beach and that's it. There is so much more. The waterfalls you can go to. I know I talked about Dunn's River Falls here, and the Blue Hole you can go to here by Ocho Rios. But the thing is, there's mountains and hills in the inland part of Jamaica, and it's so cool. Hiking the Blue Mountain to watch the sunrise, or maybe you want to go to the, like I said, the Blue Hole, but there's other Blue Holes that are here. Going hiking. There's so many things you can do when you're here that's not beach related, that could be nature related, or you can go for culture stuff. I mean, we really enjoyed going to some of the great houses, the plantation houses around here, because there's a lot of history in those things. I know we went to the Rose Hall house, and it had the Rose Hall, and it had like a ghost thing at night. If you got little tiny kids, don't do the ghost tour at night at Rose Hall. Go during the day for the normal tour, because it is a little spooky when you are there, just letting you know. But honestly, I just want you to know is, don't think Jamaica is just this. There's so much more to it, and that's one thing we've really loved, is the people and the food and just all the other great stuff that's here. And I haven't told you about the don'ts of the food. One, don't forget, it's not just jerk chicken here. There's a lot of really great food when you are here. Yes, the jerk chicken's great, and the jerk pork, fried chicken, barbecue fried chicken. You're gonna have oxtail, which is really good with some beans in it. Oh man, some butter beans, there's big beans in there. You might have curry goat with rice. Oh, it's so good. The patties that are here, it's kind of like a take on the British pies you'll have here, a pot pie kind of thing you'll get to grab and go. There's so many good things to eat when you are here. The fruit is amazing. Oh my God. The rum is also really good too. You'll have a really great time with the juices and the food when you are here. So don't feel that you have to eat anything else but the local stuff when you are here. Another don't I have for you with the food, those specialties, I mentioned it earlier before. Don't think that the scrambled eggs with fish in it is actually scrambled eggs when you see it at the buffet in the morning. It's actually a national dish called ackee and saltfish. And ackee is actually a fruit that when you cook it, it looks like scrambled eggs, and they put the saltfish in there and you eat that. I don't think it's that bad. Liam was not a fan of it, but a lot of tourists go up there and they think it's the scrambled eggs at the buffet, and it's not. So make sure you read to make sure it's either scrambled eggs or ackee and saltfish, okay? And also what's nice is you don't have to worry about the tap water. You can drink the tap water here in Jamaica, no problem. So you'll have maybe ice water waiting for your red stripe to come, or when you have your rum punch and stuff like that, which is really nice. So you can just knock back the water. And if you're traveling here, one thing I'm going to tell you is don't expect this to be a cheap place. So having free tap water and free water on the table can save you a little money when you go out to eat, because man, I've been surprised how expensive it is. And I'm going to finish off with some safety don'ts when I am here. And the first safety don't I have for you is don't think that Jamaica isn't safe. Because a lot of things I read online before I came here, I was getting worried reading up on these things. Like, is it really that bad? I'll be honest, we've gone from Montego Bay to Negril to in the mountains, okay, and then to Ocho Rios, and then to Kingston, and honestly, we just haven't been to Port Antonio. I mean, basically, we've seen a lot of the country, and we haven't had any issues. Now, I can see where people feel like there can be issues. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but it's not as dangerous as people make it sound, okay? So don't let your fear of, oh no, it's a dangerous place, stop you from coming here. Now, I'm not going to say it's a completely safe place, though, so don't forget your usual travel sense. If there's towns you're not supposed to go to, like Spanish Town, you don't go there, okay? There's certain parts of Kingston you don't go to. Certain parts of Ocho Rios you don't go to. Ask your property if you're going to go off, where should I not go? Because believe me, they'll be glad to tell you where not to go. And they'll also tell you where to go, where a good restaurant is and things like that. Other simple travel things you need to make sure you're doing. You know, you don't wear bling when you're here. This is very much a laid-back place. So you're wearing laid-back clothes when you're going out. You're not wearing your gold watches and rings and stuff like that. Why make yourself a target, okay? I just want you to know is it's not as bad as people make it sound, but there are things you got to think about, okay? So just be smart about it and you'll be fine, okay? And you know what? If you're on the road and you're exploring, don't worry about eating at a jerk hut. Those are the huts on the side of the road where they're serving the jerk chicken, because believe me, they're going to be awesome and you're going to be fine eating there, because oh my God, it's so good to go to those. So definitely check out a jerk hut when you are wandering around, or when you're driving around, you want to grab a bite to eat, because man, they are good eating there.
So we can't come to Jamaica and make a video about what you should know without addressing ganja. Marijuana is a thing here. It is not taboo. It's just part of the culture, and you should be aware of that. Many people seem to think that it is legal. It is not. It is decriminalized. So as it's decriminalized for tourists, that means you can have up to 2 ounces and no more. And you can be pulled over, and your car can be searched and things like that. So if you choose to have it, please adhere to the maximum of 2 ounces. And don't go thinking that you can sneak it out of the country between your pimento leaves or anything else, because they have dogs and the dogs will catch it. And then you will go to what they call the problem hotel in Montego Bay, which just means jail. So be aware of these things and enjoy yourself when you're here.
And I think the last safety thing I want to talk about is, hey, if someone does try to rob you or take your stuff, just let them, just like anywhere in the world. It's not worth fighting over. What? It's your camera, it's your wallet. You know what? You get more money. You can come back to Jamaica again and get those pictures all over again. It's okay. Let them have it so you don't have to worry about it, all right? I know I finished off with some kind of safety stuff that kind of worries people. I'll be honest, we're here. It's me, my wife, my 2 kids. We've had a fantastic time meeting wonderful people. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about how wonderful a time we've had here. Honestly, we're talking about coming back to stay here again because we loved it so much. So I hope this helps you feel better about coming to Jamaica, to talk about the food and drink you should enjoy when you do come here to Jamaica. Now the thing is though, a lot of people just come here and stay at all-inclusive resorts and eat the food in the resorts, but the thing is you got to get out and find some of these huts and places like that to try some of the really authentic jerk chicken, jerk pork, and some of the other great dishes here in Jamaica. So I want to give you those things that you should be looking out for. And yes, the first thing you have to have when you do come here is jerk chicken. Or you can have jerk pork. If you're not sure what it is, jerk is a marinade. It's a spicy seasoning that they marinate the chicken or the pork in before they grill it and cook it for so long. And what's great is it's got this really spicy flavor, but it's not just like hot spicy, it's flavorful spicy, which is so good. And the thing is, when they cook it, like the chicken is just like, I mean, we're talking like moist white meat chicken, usually it's dry. Oh no, the jerk marinade and stuff really helps keeping those juices. And it's so good to have when you're here. If you don't want the chicken, there's jerk pork that's really popular, and you'll see jerk cuts all over the place. If you're driving around, you'll see stands. Okay, that one's not a jerk cut, that one's actually a drink one. The jerk cut's behind me, but the wind is kind of bad today. You'll see them out there, and people will be selling the chicken or the pork and stuff like that, and you want to have that. That's number one. And I will say, a lot of the all-inclusives will have that too, so that's kind of your guaranteed Jamaican food you can have anywhere, okay? Now, next thing I want to talk about, another really good meat dish, and you notice a lot of the meats here kind of like fall off the bone kind of stuff because it's long cooked and stuff like that, is oxtail. You have it, and it's just fantastic. Comes with beans. Oh my gosh, it's almost like a stew when you get it. It is so good. That's another one you have to have. And then the fourth of the meats I want you to have when you are here, it's curried goat. Oh man, it is so good. You have like rice, and then there's the goats in this like curry sauce. Put it on top of there. You eat that up. You die happy. It's so good when you are here. So it's like my four big like meat things you want to have. The thing is, you see the sea right over there. There's a lot of really great seafood when you are here, but probably the one that will throw you off the most is when you have ackee and saltfish. It's a breakfast thing, okay? And what it is if you're at your all-inclusives and you walk by and you see a thing that looks like scrambled eggs, but you don't see a sign for scrambled eggs, that's ackee. It's a fruit, actually. And so you have this fruit, and when they cook it up, it looks like scrambled eggs, and they'll put saltfish with it, a very typical breakfast thing. I liked it. Liam wasn't so much of a fan, but it is pretty good. You can have conch fritters when you're here. Those are really good. There's a lot of great fish you can have when you're here, so you can do very well at that. And the thing is, a lot of people ask us, like, Mark, why don't you talk about vegetarian food or vegan food or stuff like that? Well, guess what? If you're vegetarian or vegan, you will love Jamaica. The fruits, the beans, the veggies, all this kind of stuff. There's so much freshness here. You're going to love it all here, okay? So make sure if you're trying some of the fruit, whatever's in season, that's what you're going to have as a juice, as a smoothie, as cut up and eaten that way. It is so good. Like we're here, there's a lot of papaya right now, there's a lot of watermelon right now. We're having a great time with that. Watermelon juice, sure, why not? I mean, it's really good. You have a lot of plantains when you're here as well, so it's really kind of lots of fruit kind of stuff you're going to enjoy. But for me, one of the things I've really liked is when we've gone to the restaurants and you get the side dishes. There's a lot of really good side dishes here. Now, remember I talked about the fruit that look like eggs? Well, there's also a fruit that looks like bread. Okay, it's called breadfruit. Okay, when you cook it, it really looks like kind of like a dumpling kind of stuff, or sometimes they fry it up to make it look like fried bread. That is top notch. Definitely have that. Another thing is probably our favorite side dish. It's called Festival, which is basically like fried dough. It's like a fried donut or fried cornbread kind of stuff. Sometimes you get it like as a stick. Sometimes you'll see it as a ball at the all-inclusives or other places. It comes in different forms, but it's fried bread. It's good. Okay, you're gonna love that when you are here. Another one you're gonna see is bami, which is made out of yuca or cassava. It'll be like fried in a little patty. That's another good one that's out there. You're gonna have rice and peas. Now it's not rice and like peas that you're probably thinking of. It's rice and like a beans that they call peas. Okay, you'll have that. That's another side dish that's quite popular. And the thing is, you'll see a lot of sweet potatoes, yuca, cassava. That's here. So there's a lot of starchy stuff you can have to really fill you up if you don't want to eat the fantastic meat and fish that's here. Now, the thing is though, sometimes you just want to grab a quick snack. You don't want to sit down for a restaurant or things like that. They have patties here. And what patties is, what you have to realize is Jamaica has a history. England was here, or Great Britain was here. And so there's some influence there. You can kind of see the pies from England are here in Jamaica in the patties, okay? So it's, kind of like a chicken pot pie or beef pot pie or shrimp pot pie or something. They'll have that. You grab and go. It's an easy thing to get and just enjoy while you're walking around. Definitely have one of those, and make sure you put some hot sauce in there when you're on it. The thing is, the hot sauce here, they love their hot sauce in Jamaica. A lot of it's jerk based, okay? But the hot sauce here is hot. I mean, it's flavorful and it's hot, like spicy hot, like hotter than the usual hot sauce probably back in the US or in Europe. So do have a heads up. Don't just be like, la, 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 because you'll be like, la, 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 later on, okay? So do be careful with that, all right? Now, in terms of some of the drinks, when you come here, you can drink the water in Jamaica, which is awesome, okay? You can be just fine with that. Brush your teeth, drink your water, all kinds of stuff, so that's cool. If you want a non-alcoholic drink, probably a good local soda you want to have, is Ting, which is a grapefruit soda. So if you drink like Squirt, it's kind of in that family. That's a nice thing to have. Also, if you put a little rum in it, always helpful. Also, if you want another drink, you want to get ginger beer, you'll see it all over the place. That's another like kind of go-to local soda. So you have that. And you get your normal, Pepsis and Cokes, the Sprites. I've seen Pepsi actually more than Coke here, which is like not usual, but I have noticed that. If you want to go for the beer, obviously an ice cold Red Stripe, yes, you can't go wrong with that. And then I guess the alcohol you probably know, but we got to talk about is rum. Rum is going to be your de facto alcohol when you're here in Jamaica. The all-inclusive you stay at, the resort you go to, the place offers you a free drink. It'll be a rum punch, okay? It'll be rum with some kind of fruit juice in it or a soda or something like that, and it's always good. It's always refreshing. Appleton is probably the most famous of the rums here in Jamaica. You can actually do a tour of their factory, which is really cool, so you can have that. If you want something a little more normal, coffee and tea, they always gonna offer you that. That's kind of a normal thing, so you'll be okay with that. So that's just like a quick little thing I wanted to give you about some food in Jamaica you should try. I know sometimes it's hard to get off the all-inclusive, but if you get a chance, get out there, hit up a jerk hut. You can eat there, it's okay, the food's fantastic, the people are awesome, and that's what's great about Jamaica. The people like just add to the flavor of the food and the experience, which is awesome. Though I will tell you, in terms of service when you go out to eat, don't expect a quick to your table, a quick person to come take your order, quick to get your food, quick to get your bill. You got it, it's island time, man. Just like relax, take your time, enjoy the atmosphere when you eat here, because you're gonna love every bite of it, because oh my goodness, I've had jerk chicken 4 days in a row now, and I'm looking forward to having it again today. So enjoy, love it, enjoy Jamaica. And I'll be honest, this has been a fantastic trip for our whole family. We've really loved Jamaica, so it's a little biased this time because it's been such a wonderful experience. But the first thing that shocked tourists, and actually shocked us when we came here, is that Jamaica is more than just beaches. I know, when you look at the tourism stuff for Jamaica, it's like, oh, it's a beach everywhere. It's just beaches. Yes, there are amazing beaches here, and I'll talk about those later with the crystal clear water, and oh my God, it's so beautiful. But the thing is, there's so much more than that when you're here. If you like some history, yeah, you can go to some of the plantation houses, the great houses, to see those. You can go to Rose Hall and take a tour there and have the ghost story and that thing told to you at night. You can see some of the other beautiful homes. You can go to the Devon House in Kingston. There's all kinds of like that kind of history that's here. But also there's all this stuff inland. You have all these hills and mountains. Yes, mountains here in Jamaica. You want to go to Blue Mountain? Yeah, you can hike that. You can go see the sunrise come up from there. It's gorgeous to see. You want to go see some of the waterfalls that are here? Yes, waterfalls. They're amazing. We were at the Blue Hole here by Ocho Rios. We're going to Dunn's River Falls. You can see that. There's all kinds of places where you can hike up the waterfalls, walk in the pools, jump in the pools in some of them. It's really, really cool. You like music? I mean, hello, it's the home of reggae here. You can go to Kingston, go to Trenchtown to see where Marley really came from. And you go to Bob Marley's house, and they have a really great tour there with the music. And you'll get this great vibe when you're here. It's just so awesome. But that's the thing that really shocks people is Jamaica is not just an all-inclusive resort with a beach and that's it. There's so much more to Jamaica than just the beaches. Now, the second thing that's going to shock you to come here is how friendly and helpful and talkative and energetic and alive the Jamaicans are. Now, I get a lot of people that get kind of upset with the Jamaicans when they come here because, like, it's just too much. They're always talking. They're always doing something so loud and the music and all this stuff. No. That's what makes it so awesome because the people here are super friendly. They want to talk to you. They want to have conversations. It's not just, hey, how you doing? It's like, let's chat for a while. And it's such a good feeling when you're here. And I'll be honest, that's the thing we've loved more than anything else here in Jamaica is our time with the people here. And it's just been so much fun to get to know them and their food and their culture and the people and the patois, that's the local language, the Jamaican language you'll hear. There's all this kind of really cool stuff. So my advice for you is when you bump into somebody, you walk into a store, you go anywhere, you always say, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? You always are introducing yourself. You're always saying hi because they're saying hi back to you. And it's really, really kind of a cool thing. So definitely do that because you'll see is when you're friendly to them, they're totally friendly to you back, or they'll be friendly to you anyway. So just be friendly back. It's really kind of a cool thing. Though I will say is that they are totally laid back here, but it's totally laid back with a happy vibe, which is totally cool. I love that. Now, the third thing that might shock when you are here is the smell of ganja. Yes, marijuana is quite popular here in Jamaica. I see tourists, I see locals, I see all kinds of people smoking brownies, whatever, when they are here in Jamaica. The thing is, you might be shocked to know that actually marijuana is not legal in Jamaica. It's just decriminalized. You as a tourist can have up to 2 ounces. If you have over 2 ounces, you're gonna get in big trouble. So don't do that, okay? It's up to you, but I'm just saying is you'll be surprised how much you smell it lots of places. Though you don't smell it everywhere, you do smell it quite a bit. So don't be prudish, don't be like, oh my goodness kind of stuff. Just realize that's kind of a fact of life here, is that there is a lot of marijuana, and you'll be shocked how much marijuana you will smell, and you'll see people smoking all over the place. Because honestly, it's not a big taboo here in Jamaica. And yes, when you're on the beach, you might have someone come up to go, hey man, you need a smoke? And you're like, no thanks. All right, they'll walk on by, no big deal. And the thing is, that kind of gets me thinking about the fourth thing that's going to shock you when you come here, and probably the thing that people really dislike the most when they come to Jamaica, is the really high pressure touts and people selling stuff on the beaches and at tourist sites. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. No matter what site you go to, no matter what beach you go to, someone's going to be there trying to sell you some sunglasses or some artwork or getting your hair braided or whatever, some smoke or something like that. You're going to get that again and again and again and again. And it really gets people upset. And that's where I see people really get frustrated. Look, all I say is, look, say no and be friendly about it. No, I'm good, man. I already got some stuff, but thanks, man. I appreciate it. All good to you. Don't be like, leave me alone. That just makes things more frustrating. Just have to have the right attitude with them. It really does help. But I'm not gonna lie to you. It will like shock you how many times people ask you again and again and again and again and again when you are at the beaches and the tourist sites. So just be prepared for that, okay? Patience, calm attitude, laid backness of Jamaica really makes it a lot easier. Now, when you are going around Jamaica, a lot of people ask, Mark, hey, what kind of money can I use here? What do I use? Well, hey, here's a shot for you. You can use the US dollar pretty much anywhere here in Jamaica. Yes, they have a Jamaican dollar, but also they take US dollars pretty much everywhere. Now, the exchange rate, you'll be shocked how different the exchange rate might be from one stall to the other, but you get a rough idea of what it's worth. I will say, if you're going to any place like tourist place, they'll gladly take dollars, no problem. If you're in a small, like a jerk hut and stuff like that, getting some chicken or jerk chicken or something like that at one of the places off the road, they'll probably prefer Jamaican money, but you'll be fine with US dollars. Like, oh great, I don't have to worry about it. And I was shocked because the resort I was at last week, the ATM shot out US dollars, not Jamaican money. The one I went to at the bank, they gave me Jamaican money. So just have a heads up for that one. Now, the sixth thing that might get you when you come here are all the PSA signs, the public service announcement signs you'll see on the highway. You know, like there'll be ones for wear your helmet or you'll die. Speed kills, so don't kill yourself by going too fast. I mean, they have all these like PSA signs that are really straight up in your face. Hey, if you're gonna have sex, make sure you wear a condom. I mean, it's like straight up these things. There's PSAs about getting married. I mean, there's all these things out here. And when you go around, you kind of notice them again and again. It's like, wow, they're really in your face with this stuff. Yes, they are. So it might shock you, but it's a good thing because it reminds us of some of this, like, make sure you wear your helmet, make sure you wear that seatbelt and stuff like that. Because honestly, the next thing that's going to shock you is the driving here. Look, I'll be honest, hire a driver, hire a local driver to take you around. Yes, you can rent a car here, no problem. My automatic manual transmission, you get them both, no big deal. But the thing is, you have weaving traffic and all this kind of stuff and bumpy roads and potholed roads and stuff like that, and dirt roads going up hills, especially going to the mountains. It can be a real scary kind of, oh my God, am I gonna die, kind of shocking trip. So honestly, just hire a driver because the drive will be nuts. I mean, you'll hear people honking and flashing and all kinds of stuff all day long. And the thing is, the reason they do that, if you're going to be going and people want to pass, it's during the day, they'll honk and then they just go around and you're supposed to move over a little bit so they can get in front of you. And you'll see that they'll do really tight passes, okay? It's like honk, honk, you go. So you need to help out with that. At night, they'll flash the lights and stuff like that. And what's funny, if you watch the drivers, okay, they'll have their little signals. Like they'll flash, they'll put their hand up like this, means, hey, there's no cops for a little while. They put their hand down like this, hey, there's some cops coming up pretty close. And it is kind of interesting. And also, if you're going to be like hitchhiking here, it's not really hitchhiking. If you're going to try to call a taxi, remember there's different things. Like you want to have it up like this is a long distance taxi ride. You're pointing down, it's a short distance taxi ride. So just have a heads up for that. But man, you'll be shocked when you're driving around Jamaica. It can be a bit hair raising. Now, the eighth thing that's going to shock you and that you're going to love when you're here is this beautiful crystal clear blue water. Oh my God, the turquoise water here is just amazing. You go in and you don't want to get out. It is just, I mean, it's breathtaking. I mean, this is your Caribbean dream here in Jamaica with the beaches, the beautiful beaches. You can go to Negril. You have the 7 Mile Beach, which isn't quite 7 miles, but yeah, whatever. You can go there and chillax. But the thing is, there's beaches everywhere. Go down to Port Antonio, see some history there. I mean, there's just so much beach here and so much beautiful water and water sports you can do. Parasailing, you want to do, snorkeling, you want to go scuba diving, you just want to go, look for shells with your kids, see the fish, go bounce on a bouncy thing that's out in the water. There's so much great stuff to do here on the water here. You're like, I understand why they just show the beaches in the tourism thing, because it's gorgeous. Like, it's shockingly gorgeous how great it is. And don't be shocked if you're flying into Montego Bay and you think you're going to land in the water, because the landing strip's like right at the water. So you think that, oh, we're going to land in the water. We're going to land in the water. Oh, no, we're not. Okay. Like, that was one thing I was like, hey, we got an issue here when we were flying in Montego Bay. Now, the ninth thing that shocked me when I came here was how little people left the resorts when they came to Jamaica. Look, Jamaica is an all-inclusive resort mecca. I mean, there's something for everybody here. So the thing is, you might be shocked if you pick the wrong one. So make sure you do your research. If it's a family one, if it's a singles one, if it's a solo traveler, it's a couples one, if it's an adult only one, there's something for everybody here. But one thing I see is kind of consistent. A lot of people don't leave their all-inclusive. They don't leave their resorts. It's kind of shocking because there's so much to see outside the resorts. Look, I know when you look online, you see all these reports of crime in Jamaica. They're like, don't go there, it's not safe and stuff like that. We haven't had any problems. Okay, now I'm not going to say nobody has problems, but you got to make the right choices when you're going to go places. Hire that local driver. Ask the hotel where's a good place to go. Don't stay out late at night. Use the safe at your hotel. These kind of things you're going to do anyway. So do that. It's going to make it a lot safer, and you're going to feel more comfortable leaving the property. Because the thing is, there's a lot of great stuff off property. Remember, I talked about the plantation houses, the great houses you can go to. You can go to a rum tour where they make rum. You can do all kinds of great stuff. Go into the Blue Hole here by Ocho Rios, or Dunn's River Fall, or Mystic Mountain, or hike a Blue Mountain, or you go, just go and take a catamaran and go scuba diving. There's a lot of stuff you can do off property, and I'm really shocked like how many people don't leave because they're worried about that. Look, there's all kinds of great opportunities for you. If you do want to have help, I know we use a company called Holiday Services, and they've been great. They've hooked us up with an amazing driver. Micah's been awesome. Take us all kinds of great places. I mean, honestly, I can't recommend Holiday Services enough. They've been awesome. We said we want to see as much of Jamaica as we can, and they've got us to Kingston, Negril, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, inland in the mountains, all kinds of stuff. It's been a great trip. So don't be afraid to get off property. But I'd also say is don't forget, maybe you want to use a tour company that'll do that for you, because sometimes, because the property wants you to stay on property. So that might be something to look into, okay? I have a link for them down below, by the way, if you want to check them out. Now, the 10th thing that shocks tourists when they come here to Jamaica is the food. I'll be honest, we all know about jerk chicken, that spicy marinated chicken that they grill out. You see the jerk huts all over the country. Oh, it is so good. And yes, you can go eat at the jerk huts, no problem. You'll be fine. And yes, you can drink the tap water here too, no problem. But that jerk sauce, the spicy sauce you'll have here is so good. And they love their hot sauce here, by the way, just FYI. It's a bit spicier, so make sure you try any hot sauce before you put it on your food. But the thing is, there's all kinds of great food when you are here. Yes, the jerk chicken and jerk pork. You can have oxtail. You can have curried goat, which is really, really good. There's some stewed chicken. There's all kinds of really good food you're going to have when you're here. The patties, it's like the British influence here. It's like a meat pie. There might be shrimp in it. There might be beef, or it might be chicken in there, or veggie in there, stuff like that. It's really great. And also what's crazy is some people are shocked of how much vegetarian and vegan options they have here, because there's all kinds of great fruits and veg here in Jamaica. I mean, the fruit here actually shocks some people because one, if you have ackee and saltfish, which is a typical morning dish, like the national breakfast kind of thing, the ackee is a fruit. But when they cook it up, it looks like scrambled eggs. So you might be at your buffet at your all-inclusive and go, oh, it's scrambled eggs with some fish in it. I'll try that. You get a ladle, you go back and eat. You're like, whoa, there's something wrong with this scrambled eggs. It's not scrambled eggs, okay? It's actually fruit, which is really kind of cool. I liked it. Liam was not so much of a fan, let's say. Another fruit that really throws you off is what's called breadfruit. And what they do is they boil it. Okay, they might boil it and fry it, but I've had it just boiled. And they boil it and it really looks like a dumpling. It looks like bread. You kind of eat it like bread and it tastes kind of like it too. So that kind of shocks people some way too. But one thing that shocked me about the food is you don't see a lot of seafood. Now, your all-inclusive might have some seafood, but a lot of the national dishes here in Jamaica aren't really seafood-based, though we're an island. I think part of that is actually because seafood in general is really expensive here in Jamaica, and so that might be something to look at. And I guess in the expensive side of things, I'll give you a special 11th shock. That is how expensive Jamaica can be, because you have two really big factors here. One, it's an island, which if you're ever on an island, you know it's always more expensive because they have to bring everything in. And two, it's a tourism hub. which of course jacks up the prices as well. So don't be shocked when you get your bill when you come to Jamaica, because it's going to be more expensive than you think. But I'll be honest, it has been worth every single cent we spent here. This has been a fantastic family vacation. I mean, it's been a vacation, not just a trip where we travel and film, but actual vacation. The kids hiking through the waterfalls has been great. You know, Jocelyn enjoying the food and learning how to cook oxtail. Me meeting our locals and having fun with them. Loving the reggae music. Going to Trenchtown and learning the history of that. It was just a really great place to be. So don't be scared off coming to Jamaica. This is an awesome place. Be smart when you're here and you have a great time. And yes, you will be surprised how much you hear Yaman and all those kind of things. I mean, they really do say that quite often. Anyway, I hope this helps you get ready to go to Jamaica, because it's a fantastic place with a beautiful sea behind me. This is a fantastic country to visit. And before you go to any country though, no matter how fantastic and wonderful it is, like Jamaica, there's things you should know before you come here so you can have a better time. Because things that might upset you, if you kind of are prepared for it, you're not really upset with it when you know it might happen, okay? So we're gonna go through some of those things here today, what you should know, from accommodation to food to just sites in general and some safety tips, okay? So to start off with, a lot of people have asked us, Mark, you need to put in some stuff about what we should pack when we go. Okay then, well, I'm gonna start with packing. Look, when you're gonna be coming here, there's two things you definitely wanna pack and bring from home. One is sunblock. Bring good sunblock. Remember, you gotta reapply it. I have been, and you can tell I'm still getting a little red because the sun is very strong here. And you have reflection off the water, whether you're on the waterfalls or you're here on the beaches and stuff like that, you will have that. The second thing is bug spray. So a lot of people, like, you remember the sun because, oh, Jamaica, it's the beach. But the bugs here, man, the little mosquitoes, little bitey bugs, man, there's a lot of them here. So bring your bug spray. The thing is, you can buy them when you are here. I just found that they're a lot more expensive here on an island and, you know, tourist hub than it is back home. So hit up your nearest Walgreens when you're heading out, or your Boots or wherever you're flying in from, and just grab some good sunblock and bug spray. I'm just gonna tell you them right now. Another thing you might wanna bring is actually some aqua socks or water shoes. You got a lot of different names for them, but basically what you're gonna use them for is if you're gonna be going to like one of the blue holes or Dun River Falls or something like that, you kind of hike around and then you go down waterfalls. But with the rocky terrain and the slick terrain and stuff like that, you need a little bit of a grip when you're doing those things, and you can't take the flip-flops there, and you can't wear normal shoes there because you're gonna get in the water. Having those water shoes really can make a big difference. They do sell them at a lot of the places here, so you can buy them when you're going to the site, but if you already have them from home, just throw them in your bag to save yourself the money when you're going to those things. Because think about it, I mean, the place we went said they rented, but they didn't have our size to rent. Anyway, so I had to buy 4 pairs at $12 a pop, so that was $48 to get those. So save your money, bring them from home. Other things you want to pack. Hey, look, it's Jamaica, it's laid back, so it's t-shirt and shorts weather pretty much all year round. So you'll be fine with that. I would bring a couple pairs of swim trunks too, because you might have one that gets a little sandy, you want to have it for the next day. So you have those things. One thing I will say, most people when they come here stay on a resort, and a resort's very much a laid back atmosphere. And yes, Jamaica's a laid back atmosphere too. But one thing I'd say with your clothes, don't just wear your swimwear out into the city. I mean, if people are there, they're going to work, they're doing their normal jobs, and if the tourists are walking around in their bikinis or just their swim trunks and no shirt, that's kind of a put off for the locals, which might give you a little, like, not as friendly service as you usually are used to here in Jamaica. So just throw a t-shirt on over top and a normal pair of shorts and you'll be okay. If you're going to be going into the mountains, and this is one thing that surprised me, because when you think of Jamaica, you just think the beautiful beaches all around and maybe, you know, Trenchtown and Bob Marley and Kingston and stuff like that. Well, actually, when you go through the center of the country, there's lots of hills. I mean, it's like beautiful hills. But if you're going to be going there like in the evening time and stuff like that, it can get a little chilly. So definitely make sure you bring like just one. You don't need anything more. Just one like long sleeve shirt to kind of deal with the chill you might get in the evening air if you're going up in the mountains or the hills when you are here. I guess I should talk about the weather because I'm talking about the chilliness and stuff like that. Look, you're gonna be fine with shorts and t-shirt all year round, okay? That's not gonna be a problem. The busy season here basically starts January, December, and it goes through March. That's the busiest time of the year. The time when you really probably don't wanna come here is July and August, because that's when it's insane hot, and you do not want to come here then. I mean, I've talked to our guides, they're like, yeah, like come any other time of the year you'll be okay, but not July and August. If you're worried about hurricanes, hurricane season is July through November, though here in Jamaica they don't tend to get a lot of hurricanes, but I mean, if you want to know when those seasons are, that's when that is. Now, if you're looking at how you get here to Jamaica, most people either you're going to fly in or you're going to be on a cruise. If you're coming on one of the big cruise ships, you're going to come here in the north coast, kind of by Ocho Rios, around here. That's where most of the cruise ships come in, so you will have that. If you're gonna fly in, there's 2 international airports. Well, there's more than that, but there's like only 2 that usually tourists might end up using. The biggest one is in Montego Bay, or Bay. You'll hear a lot of people just call it Bay. There is that, and that's where like the vast majority of tourists go, because that's where the beaches are, that's where all the inclusive resorts are and things like that. Then you have Kingston, the capital. That's another international airport. You can go there. If you're gonna be coming for a beach vacation, you're gonna be flying to Montego Bay. Just want you to know about that, okay? Now, when you do get here, you might want to wonder, like, okay, I've got here, how do I get around? Well, if you want to do public transportation, you can take public buses around. If you're going to take buses between cities, there's kind of 2 different versions. There's the fancy version that has like internet and TVs and air conditioning and a drink when you're there. They have that, and it's going to be probably double or triple the price of the local bus, which is like a little sardine can you're going to be going in. So do have a heads up for that. But the thing is, if you're looking for your budget, the local bus will save you a lot of money, but will not save you a lot of space, okay? So maybe pay up to take the nicer buses going around. Another thing you can do, and it's actually what we did, is we actually got a driver for our time here. Because I'll be honest, having a driver to know when to honk and when to pass and all these kind of things, it's a lifesaver, okay? Because they know how things work. Also, if you get a good driver, they'll take you and get you the right puddings, they'll take you to the best jerk shops, they'll tell you about like the culture and stuff like that. It really helps you learn a lot more about Jamaica. Whereas if you're on a bus, it's just a bus going, but a driver will give you a lot more. I know our buddy Michael, our driver Michael, we've really become really close with him on our time here, and it's been a really fantastic experience and really added to our enjoyment of Jamaica. And I guess I should also warn you, if you are here, you'll notice they drive on the left, like in England, okay? Not like on the right, like in the US or in other parts of South America and the Caribbean. They drive on the left. So do have a heads up when you do drive here, because yes, you can rent a car and drive around. Just know that the traffic's really crazy. And if someone's flashing you from behind, that means they're gonna pass you in the evening time. In the daytime, they'll honk, and it's like, whew, like really, really tight passing and stuff like that. So do have a heads up for that. That's why I recommend do the public transportation buses or hire a driver when you come here, okay? And the thing is, when you are driving around, don't be surprised if a few goats are wandering in the road, or a cow seems like it's getting close to the side of the road. Don't worry, all those cows and goats are spoken for, okay? No one lost their goat. They let their goats, their cows wander around, and they come back in the evening time, no problem. But when you are driving, especially on the mountain roads, which can be a little treacherous, do have a heads up for that, okay? Now, of course, we talked about how you're gonna get around. Now we gotta figure out where you're gonna stay when you're here. Well, most people are gonna be staying on the north coast or maybe on the west coast like Negril, and where you're gonna stay kind of sometimes will depend like what you want. So Negril, which is on the far west coast with a 7-mile beach and stuff like that, that's definitely much more of a party atmosphere, like young person vibe, party atmosphere kind of thing. That's there. Ocho Rios is more if you want to do the adventure stuff. You want to go to Dunn's River Falls or Mystic Mountain and stuff like that, and you want to do those kind of things. There's a Blue Hole. There's a Blue Hole here by Ocho Rios you could do. That's more for like the adventure kind of stuff. And also I've seen a lot of families here, a lot more family activities here in Ocho Rios. Then you have Montego Bay, which is probably the biggest place, and that has a mix of everything. Whether you're a solo traveler, whether you're a family, whether you're couples and stuff like that, you do have that. And the thing is, when you're looking at places to stay here, realize there's a vast variety of resorts here, okay? Whether it is for solo travelers, young travelers, couples, there's nudist ones, there's all kinds of stuff here. So just make sure you're doing your research before you pick a place to stay, because sometimes one resort will actually have 3 properties in it. And so there might be an adult one, a family one, and a mixed one, and you want to make sure you get the right one for you, okay? Now, if you don't want to do the all-inclusives, and if you do the all-inclusives, don't lose that wristband, okay? Because they'll make you pay. You can do a lot of apartment rentals here and house rentals, and sometimes those rentals will actually come with maybe a cook or a driver or something like that, so you can definitely check those things out before you come, and maybe those are some things you can help you out with. Also, of course, there are normal hotels you can stay at. Like if you're going to be going to Kingston, most likely it's like a hotel stay kind of thing versus like the big resorts like you have on the North Coast. So there is that. So you might ask yourself, well, Mark, that's really cool. We got these cool places to stay, but how do I pay here? What's the currency? Well, they actually use the Jamaican dollar here in Jamaica, but also the US dollar is accepted pretty much everywhere. So you're going to be okay with either one. Actually, the ATM I used at my resort gave out US dollars. The ATM I used on the street, that gave me Jamaican dollars. So you can get a mix of them. The thing is, though, depending where you go, your exchange rate might be bad. So do have a heads up. So sometimes it's easier just paying straight dollars and just say, no, just give me the dollar price. I'll do that. Don't convert it back and forth. Like the tollway we took from Ocho Rios to Kingston. Yeah, I mean, they were like 20% off like the official rate. So sometimes you want to kind of check those things out. But in general, you can use US dollars everywhere. But if you're going to be doing small things like going to jerk huts and stuff like that on the side of the road, Jamaican dollars are best. Now, another thing a lot of people ask about Wi-Fi, internet, all this kind of stuff when they come here. Actually, we found that we get our 4G coverage pretty much everywhere we've gone in Jamaica, which has been very nice. I will say though, you don't always get a ton of data or a high data speed when you're doing that, but you do connect pretty much everywhere, which is nice. I would also recommend downloading WhatsApp so you can get in touch with your drivers and stuff like that, because a lot of them will use WhatsApp versus texting, so you can have that. In terms of Wi-Fi and the locations, I found that most resorts and most properties do have Wi-Fi, no problem there. You can get that. It might be a little slow, but our kids haven't had any problems. They've streamed some Netflix and YouTube, stuff like that. It's done okay. So just have a heads up. Don't expect to be blazing fast, but you will have it okay. And the plugs here in Jamaica, everywhere we've gone, has actually had the US system. You might only have 2. Okay, if you have a third one, there's that as well, like on the bottom, but they've all had at least the 2 ones there. I have seen some old places where they had a British plug plugging in the air conditioner, but in general, everywhere you go, it's a US plug. Okay. Now, next thing I want to talk about is usually my favorite part of traveling, and that is what you're going to eat when you come here. Look, Jamaica is famous for its jerk chicken. It's a spicy rub and marinade they put on their chicken, and they roast the chicken. And it's like super juicy with some kick to it. Oh, it is so good. So you have to have jerk chicken when you're here. They also do jerk pork, which is really good, okay? Another couple really good ones, you might have oxtail or curried goat, both really good meat dishes. With the goat, definitely with the goat, watch out for little bones in there if you're feeding to the kids. That might be something you want to watch out for. But the thing is, they have a lot of really good sides when you are here. Festival, which is like a fried cornbread kind of stuff, is really good. It might come in a ball or kind of a stick of stuff. That's good. You got bammy, which is like cassava, flattened, bready like thing. It's really nice. You've got breadfruit, which is a fruit that when they cook it actually looks like bread. For breakfast, you might have ackee and saltfish, which is ackee is a fruit that when you cook it, it looks like scrambled eggs, and they'll put fish in there, saltfish in there. That's another popular thing you'll have when you're here. If you do see a Devon House ice cream place, definitely grab some of their ice cream. It's very nice. On the side of the roads, you might see people in these big pots cooking things on there. There's different puddings you might have, like potato pudding or corn pudding or even pumpkin pudding. Those are really nice as well. So you will have that. The drink of the day, of course, is the rum and red stripe beer, but there's other beers here, Dragon's okay and stuff like that. And you can drink the tap water here, no problem, which is always very nice. But the thing is, one thing I like to grab when we're going around is actually a soda that's popular here. It's a grapefruit soda called Ting or Ting, depending who you talk to. I've heard it different ways, but it's T-I-N-G. It's a grapefruit soda, super refreshing when it's cold. I mean, it's so good. Little rum in there, even better. So you do have that, okay? Now, if you're looking to go shop and you're looking at what time things are open, usual business hours are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Saturday, the shops will be open, but Sunday, pretty much a lot of the country is closed. So do have a heads up for that if you're going to be here on a Sunday. So kind of plan an adventure activity instead of going into town to go shopping. Another thing that people get really worried about when they come to Jamaica is actually safety. We haven't had any problems when we've been here, but I can see where people have had problems. Really, you got to be careful. Going out late at night and stuff like that. A lot of people just recommend just staying at a resort. You can do those things. But the thing is, it's not as dangerous as everybody makes it sound. The places that you don't want to go, there are places you don't go, especially at night. That's why you have the driver that's going to tell you where to go, where not to go. That's why you talk to concierges and stuff like that and ask them. Because the thing is, in general, the people here in Jamaica have been out of this world, friendly, helpful, kind, nice. They want to help you. And we've asked directions. No one's like, oh, well, give me money for those directions. We haven't had that, which has been super awesome. And I think Jamaica gets a bad rap sometimes because oh, it's so dangerous. It's not. Look, there are issues. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But in general, we've had a fantastic time here because of the people. I mean, don't get me wrong. The beaches are fantastic. But for me, what truly shines here are the people of Jamaica. Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about all the wonderful people we met here. And I know not everybody's had that experience. So some things I should tell you about the people here. Look, you got to realize you got to take it slow. It's island time. So whether it's ordering food or getting a pickup or waiting for your bill or whatever, you got to take your time. You can't get upset with that. I've seen a lot of tourists getting upset because of that. Look, you got to give yourself time. If they say it's a half hour, give yourself 45 minutes, an hour, okay? Just so you have an idea, because it takes a little bit longer time. And I think that's a big thing I see people get upset with because they think, oh, this is such bad service. I'm like, no, it's just slow because you're on island time here in Jamaica. If you come with that island time mentality, it can really help with a lot of the issues that I've seen tourists have when they do come here. Another thing I will tell you is don't like do your yaman, kind of thing, like the accent jokes and stuff like that to people, because it's kind of insulting to them, okay? I know when we've been here, I've gone to places and our drivers taking us some places that these like tourists don't usually go to these places, which has been really cool because we're seeing real culture and people are looking at us like, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, we're here to have the chicken. We're here to try the pudding. We're here to do this. And I'm like, cool, man, that's nice. And they've been so awesome about it. But I will say there was one place we went and like the people were like, wow, you're here. That's so cool. I see tourists here. And so they're like, how's everything? I'm like, it's going great. We really love it here. It's awesome. And then they turned around and instead of like how tourists go Yaman and stuff like that, they went like full Midwest voice. Yes, well, I hope you're having a swell time. And it was so funny because they were doing it back to me. I mean, I didn't do it to them, but they were doing it back to me, what tourists do to them with the Yamans and stuff like that. That was kind of like, yeah, I could see how that is kind of condescending stuff like that. So do be respectful for the people here because they are really awesome. Though there is kind of one time they're not super awesome, and that is if you go to the markets and stuff like that, or you're on the beach and people are trying to sell you stuff, they are extremely pushy at the markets, and they're extremely pushy when you're on the beach. So if you don't like, just like, no thanks, no, and have some humor with it, because you can get upset how much they keep asking you and asking you and asking you. You're like, just go away. Yeah, but you just gotta have some patience, use some humor with it. That'll help things kind of go a little bit easier. Now, we should probably talk about what you're gonna do when you're here, because that's one of the big things. Like, look, I'm coming to Jamaica to relax. Why don't we relax and do things? Well, there's beaches all over the place. Ocho Rios has their own beaches. Montego Bay has their own beaches. Negril with a 7-mile beach, which isn't quite 7 miles, but it's still amazing to do the beach stuff there. There is the beaches, and with that, there's parasailing, there's scuba diving, there's snorkeling, there's reefs out here you can go to. There's all kinds of great water activities to do, which is awesome. That's what most people think. But there's other water activities actually inland. There's a bunch of waterfalls you can visit, and you can hike the waterfalls, you can swim in the waterfalls, you can jump from the waterfalls. There's all kinds of cool things you can do. I mean, here in Ocho Rios, you got a blue hole that's popular. You've got Dunn's River Falls and Mystic Mountain. You can go do that. There's hiking you can do. You can go to Blue Mountain and see that Blue Mountain coffee. That's from here in Jamaica, the Blue Mountain. That's what it's named after. You have those things. And there are cultural things you can do too. There's cooking classes. I know we went to one place, it was Stush in the Bush, and what they did is there was a vegan farm, and they had an organic farm, and they made this vegan meal with like 99 different dishes. Not 99, but like a ton of dishes. It was a really great experience to learn about these things and learn about Jamaican culture and food and stuff like that. It's really cool. Other things, you're going to Kingston. That's very much a culture visit. You can go to the Devon House there, which is just beautiful to check out. You can go to, yes, you can go to Bob Marley's house when you're there. You can go to Trenchtown, do a tour there to learn about, Trenchtown. Like, that's where he came from and where he sings about a lot. You get a lot of history of the city, and you have a nice little things around here when you're going there. Now, in general, when you're going into cities, though, there's not a lot of stuff to see. There's some shops and some restaurants, so you can just eat at the jerk huts on the side of the road, no problem. But I just want to give you a heads up for those things. And there are actually some plantation homes or great houses you can go check out. We actually went to Rose Hall, which was really cool, by Montego Bay. They actually have a ghost tour at night that tells the spooky history there. I will warn you, if you have really little kids, it's probably going to be too scary for them. We got about halfway through, and I had to take Liam back out because he was too scared. But Caleb, who's 12, and Jocelyn, they loved it. Like, oh, I got some scares too, but it was really cool. But the plantation, or the great houses you can go to, the plantation homes here, the history that are in those, man, there's some horrible history with the sugar cane fields and the plantations and the slavery here that you really learn a lot, okay, when you do go to those. So definitely check out some of the great houses of the plantation homes like Rose Hall and stuff like that. It is well worth checking out. Now, I talked about Bob Marley and I talked about Trenchtown, but the also thing is you can go visit some Rastafari. They got the dreadlocks and the ganja, the marijuana guys and stuff like that. You can see these people around. You can really experience them and go talk to them about their way of life and how they see things. And that's really a cultural experience in and of itself. But also from that, it always makes you think of reggae music. And you have tons of reggae music, tons of great music playing all the time here in Jamaica. So it really makes it a very rhythmic place to be, because you're always like, yeah, I want to kind of dance around. I feel the rhythm. It's really a cool thing. So you can go see that. And the thing is, there's actually a language component you might want to know when you do come here to Jamaica. Yes, English is the official language you hear. You'll hear Spanish a lot as well, but they have patois, which is the local kind of people say Jamaican language. So you'll hear the yaman, which is yes, but it's for male, female. It's no big deal. That just means yes. You'll hear all kinds of different, patois words. So just have a heads up for that. We actually have a video on 4 patois words that tourists should know so they can meet some locals and have a good time. So I hope that helped you know a little bit more about visiting Jamaica. We've had a fantastic time here. So many great people we met, but especially our buddy Michael. You just made this trip so fantastic. We want to say thank you to all the people that have helped us out here. It's been a fantastic trip here in Jamaica. Loved every minute of it. And today we're going to talk about are some of the don'ts you should know before you come to the Caribbean, because there's a lot of do's when you're here, and it doesn't matter if you're going to Jamaica, if you're going to here in Aruba, or you're going to Barbados or someplace else. There's so many great islands, so many great people to visit, but there are some don'ts. I want to just get started. And my first don't, which I think is really important for people to realize, is don't think that every Caribbean island is the same. Look, if you're going to Jamaica, you have a different experience than you come to Aruba, which is a different experience than going to Barbados, which is different than St. Kitts, which is if you're going to go to Cuba or if you're going to go to Puerto Rico and stuff like that. All these islands through here, they have distinct cultures, they have distinct people, distinct foods, all kinds of stuff. Yes, there are some things that are going to cross over, but you really need to know is there are differences here. And so you need to do your research to figure out what island's best for you. If you want more adventure stuff, I want to be jumping in waterfalls and doing things like that, maybe Jamaica's for you. If all I want to do is kick back and relax at the beach and do nothing else, Turks and Caicos could be for you. Oh, I want to do a little bit of beach, I want to do a little bit of adventure, maybe Aruba's for you. There's all kinds of different stuff you want to see and do. But the thing is, the islands can be different, so don't forget to do your research to figure out which island's gonna be right for you. Now, my next don't actually has to deal with the cruise travelers, because I know a lot of people just cruise through the Caribbean, which is awesome, don't get me wrong. But I think it's important for cruisers to know that don't think that the port of call truly represents the entire culture of the island you're going to. If you're going to here in Oranienstadt, or you're going to Ocho Rios in Jamaica, I mean, they're cool, they got stuff to do. But the thing is that they know that's where a lot of tourists come in. So you have lots of touts that are there. You have a lot of tourist restaurants, a lot of tourist shopping and things like that. And it's kind of like if you went to Orlando, yes, it would give you a taste of the United States, but does it give you a really deep down feel of it? No, you got to explore a little bit more. And so when you come here, make sure you are doing more than just walking in the town and walking back out with a few souvenirs. Hit up some of the beaches, do an excursion or something like that. And that leads to my second don't, specifically for cruise travelers coming to the Caribbean, if there's something you really want to do. Now, I know the cruise ships will have excursions you can do, but what I recommend, if there's something that's really important to you, like if you're big into archaeology, or you're really big into nature, wildlife, or something like that, don't be afraid to hire your own personal guide that's just for you to go and visit the island. Now, the thing is, the benefit for that is you don't have a huge busload of people, because when they do a bus tour, they have to do a bus tour. So you can't go in depth with something here. If one person is late, you all have to wait behind. It gets kind of annoying kind of stuff. So that's why I say, look, if you want to learn more about, the cave paintings here in Aruba, get a guide when you come and have them take you to there, okay? Now, I will say this though, the drawback of having a private tour, one, probably costs a bit more, but two, if you're late coming back from a private tour, the cruise ship does not wait for you. The cruise ship will wait for you if you're on the bus tour, okay? So make sure you're planning ahead for those things, because honestly, I've done it a few times both ways, and I've got a lot of bang for the buck when it is going by ourselves. Because think about it, I mean, I know it's not really the Caribbean, but if you go to Cancun and you take that cruise and you take the excursion to Machu Picchu, I can already tell you the market they're gonna stop at to get you to buy stuff, and I can already tell you the town they're gonna stop at on the way out. It's already kind of planned, whereas when you have your own guide, you can say, okay, we're done here, let's go to the next spot. So that can help out. Now, you notice I'm talking pretty fast, and I really need to slow down, because my next don't for you is don't get in a rush in the Caribbean. I know it might be the British West Indies or the Dutch Caribbean and things like that, and they might have those names that sound like everything will be on time. Look, you have to think island life, island time. Everything will happen, it will just take some time. So to get your menu, to get seated at the restaurant, to get your drink or your rum runner or whatever, might take a little time, okay? So just have patience. There's no reason to get upset. I mean, where are you gonna go? You're on an island. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the beach, enjoy relaxing. I personally think they do that so we tourists that are go, 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 are forced to just sit, calm down, relax, and enjoy the view. And when you're enjoying that view, my next don't for you is don't forget to bring some sun protection. Yes, sunblock is a really important thing, okay? You gotta have that. And yes, I am a bit red, and I've been putting on sunblock and reapplying it. But you have very intense sun rays down here. The farther you go south in the Caribbean, the more intense they get, so do have a heads up. Have your beach clothes, have a hat and stuff like that. And the thing is, some people laugh, they're like, oh, well, it's because you're bald, Mark, it burns. I'm like, I tell you what, if you have a part, if you're not bald and you have a part, it'll burn there too, okay? So make sure you're doing that as well. Because I've seen a lot of purple tourists here and in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands and other islands we've gone to. You want to be careful with that, all right? Now, my next don't for you is don't think that going to the Caribbean is going to be cheap. Those, that lotion, the sunblock, bring it from home because it might be 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price at the shops on the islands. Because think about it, we're in the Caribbean. They're islands. Islands, by definition, things have to be brought into them, which increases the price. And then you have tons of tourists that come to these islands, which then increases the price. So you're not going to get a cheap vacation when you do come to the Caribbean. So have a heads up for it. So make sure you're planning your budget accordingly for when you do come to the Caribbean. Some islands are more affordable, and if you go and eat with the locals, you can save a lot of cash. But a lot of people like to stay in the resort areas and stuff like that where the prices are higher. So do have a heads up and use those supermarkets to your advantage. Even if you're just bringing snacks back, maybe you only eat 2 meals out a day and then you snack for dinner or you snack for lunch or you have a snack breakfast or something like that. It can put a dent in that really high price of coming to the Caribbean. Now, my next tip for you, we're going back to the beach, and that would be don't get overly upset with the aggressive touts when you're on the beach. You'll notice in Jamaica, those guys will come up to you all the time. Hey, you want to buy something? You want to buy this? You want to buy that? You want some sunblock? You want some ganja? You want these things? Some islands, you're going to have touts that are going to come and try to sell you stuff incessantly again and again and again. Look, I know people get really frustrated with it. I've seen people yelling at the touts. What you have to realize is a lot of the islands of the Caribbean don't have a social system to support people. So those people, this is how they make a living, is selling those trinkets, is selling those tours and things like that. So what I feel works best, this worked for us in Jamaica, it worked for us here, worked for us in other places, is we said this, like, hey, we've already got our souvenirs for the day. Well, first off, we started with, hey, how are you doing today? So we greeted them back, didn't ignore them, didn't say, oh, leave me alone. Just common courtesy, hey, how you doing? Good day, man. And they asked, oh, you want something? Like, down there, we already got all our souvenirs, but I respect you asking for us. I really appreciate it, man. You have a good day. See you later. I can't tell you how many times we got, hey, respect, man. Thanks, man. Have a good day, too. And they kind of left us alone. And the thing is, it wasn't animosity or anything like that. Just realize that's how they make a living, and it can be frustrating, but just be prepared for it. So have your kind of line down so you can kind of go through. And if they do have something you want, why not buy it? Help out the local community, help out a local person, support their family. Now, my next don't for you has to do with the hurricanes, and that is don't forget hurricane season. July through November is hurricane season in the Caribbean, okay? Now here in Aruba, we're south of the hurricane belt, so they usually don't get anything, but other parts do get hit, and it is really horrible things happen. So make sure if you're gonna try to come in October or September or August or something like that, buy your trip insurance in case the bad weather does come. Have backup plans in case things don't go right, okay? Have those things kind of set up so you know what you should do in case a hurricane comes. Now, if you're coming outside those times, you don't really need to worry about it at all. You just got sun, and you just got to worry about the sun, right? And so do have a heads up, though, because July through November is hurricane season. Obviously, towards the end and the beginning, a little less intense. You just really have to think about it when you are scheduling a trip to the Caribbean, okay? Now, I think you should see another beach view, so we'll move to another beach to enjoy some more tips on the Caribbean. Now, my next don't for you is don't forget to bring some US dollars. Look, most of the islands here have their own currencies, but kind of a secondary currency that is used on a lot of the islands is the US dollar. Because of all the US tourists that come here, a lot of it floods in. You will see ATMs that might give you the local currency or the US dollar. For example, here in Aruba, I can choose florins or dollars to have taken out. So do bring some with you. I also recommend that you do bring some smaller bills, bring some singles, bring some 5s and 10s, because if you're gonna be, if you're on a cruise, you wanna buy some little trinkets, you wanna have the small bills because people might not have change, or if they do have change, they might give you change back in the local currency, so have a heads up. But in general, you're gonna be okay just using the US dollar. Now, my next don't for you is don't think that your magic fanny pack is going to protect you here in the Caribbean. Look, I know when we travel, we think we put on our magic fanny pack and nothing bad will happen to us. Look, you do need to be careful when you are coming to the Caribbean. Now, I'm not saying it's unsafe everywhere. A lot of the Caribbean islands are actually very safe. Here in Aruba, Turks and Caicos, things like that. But a lot of times you do make sure you're using your usual traveler sense, okay? If you don't feel like you're in the right part of town, get out of that part of town. If you don't feel comfortable driving, hire a local guide or hire a local driver to show you around. That can really help. And that's why it's really important you do your research on the islands you're gonna go to make sure you know what things you should look out for. Like, is there certain parts of the islands you shouldn't go to, or is it more bad at night or things like that? Just to give you the heads up. for example, if you're looking at all the stray dogs and cats you're gonna see around on some of these islands, you know, they call them pot cakes in Turks and Caicos, and there's actually pot cake care centers you can go to and walk the dogs and stuff like that. Other places, you kind of want to stay away from them. So just have a heads up for that. Now, another thing I want to talk about is cell service, Wi-Fi, things like that. And my don't for that is, don't worry, you will have Wi-Fi, you will have electricity, you will have cell service, you will have all those things. Now, in terms of the data and the Wi-Fi and stuff like that, now it may say 4G or whatever on your phone. That doesn't mean you're going to get blazing fast internet when you're in your hotel or when you're on your phone, but you will have it, which is always nice. But I will tell you, if you're going to be going exploring on the islands, you know, maybe doing hikes or going on the more remote side of the islands, I recommend you download like a maps.me, like version map of the country, so you can be tracking on that in case you don't have cell service. Because sometimes in kind of the backwater parts of the islands, you might not have cell service, so just to be safe, download an offline map so you can have that, okay? Now my next don't for you is, don't be scared to leave your resort. Look, I know a lot of people when they come to the Caribbean, they get worried about their safety and stuff like that. And they think, I'll just stay on my resort. I'm not gonna do anything else except drink my all-inclusive alcohol and eat my all-inclusive food, which is awesome. I mean, if that's what you wanna do, great, but don't be afraid to go off property. Go take a tour, go see some more of the island. Head up and go see the California Lighthouse here, or go snorkeling and doing things like that. Get out of your resort, because then you have a better chance of seeing some of the local culture. Now, I realize a lot of people come specifically for those all-inclusive resorts because, look, I want to be at Sandals and I just want to chillax. That's totally fine, but I always like to recommend people, don't just stay at the resort. Go out and explore. Also, I find you get better food when you go out and explore as well. Now, another thing I want to talk about is when you're coming to the beach, okay? Obviously, the Caribbean, it's all about the beaches, and the beautiful water, and the beautiful sand. And I want to tell you, don't forget to bring your beach accoutrement with you. You know, if you're taking kids, bring that little cheap, you know, shovel and pail they have. Throw that in their backpacks, okay? You're not packing a lot. I mean, it's the beaches here, so you got t-shirts and swim trunks, so you have room in your suitcase. So bring the towel, bring extra sunblock like we talked about before, bring bug spray, you know, bring your goggles and your snorkel and things like that. Because the thing is, when you buy it at the stores here, we talked about the sticker shock of here, you're gonna pay a lot more. So just bring it with you. You have it all from last year's summer vacation. Just throw it in there. It'll make your life so much easier. And what's cool is a lot of these places will have snorkeling things you can go do. So you can take your own snorkel. Maybe you like the ones that doesn't filter back in. Or maybe you like the face mask one that just goes over your head. There's all kinds of different ones that you can get at home. And then you're not sharing something that 50 other people this week have like latched their mouth onto, okay? So do think about bringing some of that stuff with you. So one of those things I think you should pack and bring from home is also a reusable water bottle, because you don't want to get dehydrated. If you have your own water bottle, you can refill it all the time and drink that, so you'll be okay, all right? Now, my next don't for you is don't go in the water if the flags say not to. Because a lot of times people come, it's like, I don't care, I'm here on vacation, I'm going in the beach, I'm going in the surf, I'm gonna go enjoy the water, and they don't look at the flags. If the flags are red, you don't wanna go in. So make sure you're watching the flags, because you know what? You don't wanna be a horror story that happens if someone comes on vacation and gets swept out to sea. Now, it doesn't happen very often, but you will notice there's not a lot of lifeguards out on the beaches in the Caribbean. So do have a heads up with those flags. Now, my next don't for you kind of relates back to that one about getting off the resort, and that is, don't be afraid to go adventuring when you're here. Whether that adventuring is heading into Kingston and seeing Trench Town in Jamaica, or maybe you're going out on a Jeep safari or getting one of those gators and driving around and stuff like that. The Caribbean islands are made for adventure, okay? They're made to go out and explore. Go snorkeling, go parasailing, go kite surfing, go tubing, do all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of great things. You want to swim with some rays and sharks? You can do that too. There's a lot of outdoor activities you can do when you're here. Hiking in some of the mountains. I mean, my goodness, going in Jamaica, just gorgeous inland. Here in Aruba, you can do some hikes in the national park. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do. But I really think it's one of the great things about the Caribbean is it's such a kind of adventurous, a lot of stuff you can do aside from chilling at the beach. And I guess that's actually why I think the next thing I should tell you is don't forget to bring the kids and the grandparents, because the Caribbean makes a great multi-generational like destination. Because think about it, the people that just want to sit at the beach and relax and do nothing can do that. The people that just want to drink rum can do that. The kids that want to go over to the pool, they can do that. Those that want to go out and adventuring and doing things and jumping in waterfalls and stuff like that, they can do that. There's something for everybody when you're here, and that's what's really nice about it. and it's really, a wonderful place to be for all generations, okay? But I will say, my last don't for you is, don't expect to find a lot of empty space on the beach, okay? You're not gonna get a lot of alone time. Now, I know I'm here getting some alone time filming, but it's also 7 o'clock in the morning, okay? And the thing is, you have to realize, because the Caribbean is so popular and tourists come here all the time, it's gonna be busy. You're gonna have those prices I talked about, but it's gonna be hard to find time for yourself or things like that, or alone space, okay? So just be ready to be able to share your wonderful family vacation with a lot of other families or a lot of other couples and things like that. But it is well worth it. Today we're here in Jamaica with our friend Michael, and we're gonna learn 4 words in patois. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so patois is actually Jamaican. When people say, oh, you speak Jamaican, it's actually patois, which is kind of what, like a cross?
Creole.
Creole.
Yeah, mixed with all different type of language.
Yeah, so you'll have you have English, you have Spanish, French, all kinds of stuff together. It's really kind of cool. So Michael's been awesome. He's been taking us all over Jamaica. So I want to make a video with him because he's been awesome. He got us the corn pudding, the potato pudding, the jerk chicken. He's hooked us with some great food. So we want to hook up with 4 great things we need to know and say when you do come here to Jamaica. So what's the first word we should know?
Yaman. So
Yeah.
like Yaman mean yes for both male and female.
Okay.
And irie mean okay.
Irie.
Irie mean okay. So 2 major word is Yaman and irie.
Yaman and Irie.
And irie.
Cool. And then I see everybody's so friendly here, and they're always like, "Hey, how are you doing?" So what's you taught it me before, but I'm horrible at it. How do you say how are you?
How are you?
Yeah.
Like how are you? You can say how are you like in regular English, or like wagwan.
Wagwan.
Wagwan, that is in patois. So wagwan mean how are you?
Okay.
So if someone say Juan, you will say me good man.
Me good man.
Me good man mean that I'm okay.
So wagwan.
Wagwan mean how are you?
Okay. So I would say wagwan, and you'd say
Me good man.
me good man. Cool.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So Michael's a great representation of the awesome people we've met here in Jamaica. They are so wonderful. When you come here, you will meet so many people. And the thing is, people are really friendly. They're really happy. They want to have a good time. They want to help you, which is one of those things. It's not fake. Like when you see all the friendly, happy faces when you watch videos on Jamaica, it's not a joke. Like the people here are awesome. And Michael's just one of the amazing people in Jamaica. So I hope you learned a couple words in Jamaican or patois before you come. And we want to check him out. He's actually at holiday services. We want to hire him to drive you around. Really cool dude. So Michael, thank you very much.
Yeah, man, no problem. And I hope you enjoy.
We did. We loved it. We loved it. All right. Thanks,
One
man.
love.
Well, love. Thanks, man. And today what we want to talk about is how you can make your money go farther when you come here to the Caribbean. And I think one of the things you need to realize, when people come to the Caribbean, they think, I've got to go to an all-inclusive resort. I've got to stay at an all-inclusive resort. That's the only way to do things. Well, honestly, budget-wise, all-inclusive resorts might not be your best bet, because if you're not going to drink a lot, you're not going to eat a lot, it might not be worth it to pay that price premium to stay in those places. Now, if you're going to drink and eat like crazy and just lay around, then yes, it could be a better bet. But honestly, you should do your research and see if it's really worth it. I know for us, we were in Jamaica and we got an all-inclusive, but we got the one that did not include the food and drink. So therefore we just had the resort space, and then we went out into the city and went and ate that way. And that made it much more economical for us. So do your research beforehand on those all-inclusive you're going to go to, because sometimes that's one budget thing you don't realize can really blow up your budget, okay? Now, another thing I think is important is when you're packing to come here, you can save yourself a lot of money if you bring your snorkel, your goggles, your water shoes, your sunblock, your bug spray. Bringing those things can save you a ton, because you're going to need your water shoes, your bug spray, your sunblock, your hat. You're going to need that when you come here. And yes, you can buy all those things here. It's not a problem. But if you're looking to get your Copper Tone 50 sunblock, that's like $12.50 at Walgreens back home, it could be $30, $40 here in the Dominican Republic or Jamaica. So sometimes just budget-wise, it might be good to just have that stuff and bring it with you to save money that way. Because getting those things at your resorts, whew, they can be a bit high, okay? Now, another thing you can look at doing in order to help your budget is really be open to the days you fly to the Caribbean, because if you fly in on a weekend, the prices are really high. Because you're coming here to the Dominican Republic on the weekends. People fly from the U.S. just to spend the weekend here, and that drives up those prices for Friday flights, Saturday flights, going back home on Sunday flights. Look at alternate dates. If you can go, maybe go Tuesday to Tuesday, and that could save you quite a bit of money on the flights, because flying to the Caribbean is sometimes the same price or more than doing a flight from the US to Europe, okay? So that can be a really big impact on your budget. Now, I know I kind of mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the all-inclusives, but honestly, another way you can save money is just eating where the locals eat. Because if you're going to Belize, if you're going to Turks and Caicos, you're going places, if you see where the locals are going and eat where they eat, it's going to be a lot more affordable because the locals don't make, European salaries or North American salaries. They're making Caribbean salaries, which are significantly lower. So they can afford to go to those restaurants where the tourists go, but they still want to eat good local food. So if you see where the locals are going and go eat with them, you can save a lot of money. That's how we really got a lot of bang for a buck in Jamaica and Turks and Caicos when we were there, because that really helped the money go a lot farther, okay? Another budget thing you don't really think of when it's coming here is don't forget to bring cash. Because when you're here, you're going to tip a lot. And the thing is, I'd say bring cash, but bring lots of singles and lots of fives. Because when you want to tip people, $1 here, $5 there, it's fine. But all you have are 20s, that can get a little expensive tipping, right? So have those singles, whether you're tipping the busboy, you're tipping the bellhop, or you're tipping your bartenders, even at all-inclusives, putting an extra $1 here or there does make a difference to help things out and maybe make your drink a little bit stronger, let's say, because you're going to take out money. Okay, ATMs are all over the Caribbean. I mean, most of the time they're going to be in the banks, so make sure that you look for the ones in the banks. Your resorts will probably have them in the resorts as well. But one thing I want to tell you is if you're going to be taking out money, that's going to have fees. You're going to lose money there. Also, the exchange rate is not going to be in your favor. So I've seen it where actually some of the exchange rates they're offering the conversions we're talking like 20% different than the actual official exchange rate. So already having those dollars with you when you come here can make a big difference. If you have those singles, you have those fives where you can tip people and make things a lot easier, so you're saving money on your tipping because you're not over tipping with 10s and 20s because you don't have those smaller bills. You have those smaller bills already with you, okay? But what are some more budget tips? Let's go to Aruba to continue on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is renting a car versus doing tours. Now, when you come to the Caribbean, there's all kinds of tours you can do, right? You can go out to, see the Iguana Island in Turks and Caicos. You can go snorkeling in lots of places. You can go diving. You can go on hikes. You can go on Jeep tours. There's all kinds of tours you can do. The thing is, if it's one person, then probably the tour might be cheaper than renting a car. But for some of them, like here in Aruba, we have 4 of us. So it was, we could rent a car for $65 plus insurance a day. So that was like $80 a day, right? We could do that and drive all around the island. Or we could do the Jeep tour at $60 per person. $240 for the tour or $85 to rent a car and do it on our own. And so that's another way you can save money, okay? Now, the thing is, though, you have to compare the prices. Is it going to be cheaper to rent the car? Also, another thing with renting the car, you might want to look at our next tip for you, and that is, weighing renting a car, using taxis or drivers, or if you want to use public transportation. Now, I know everybody always says for budget options, do public transportation, it's going to be the cheapest option. Yeah, a lot of times it is. But the thing is not every Caribbean island has a bus system to take you around, okay? So you might have to use drivers. You might need to rent a car. What I say to you is look at where you're staying. Does it pay off to have your own car? Do you need to have your own car? Or maybe do you only need your own car for a couple days? So for example, here in Aruba, they have buses that go everywhere. So public transportation was fine. And we only rented a car for a couple days to go out and explore the island. So instead of 7 days of renting a car, we only had 2. And that saved us a lot of money. I know we're going to the Cayman Islands pretty soon, right? And the thing is, Cayman Islands, there's buses that go around, we can do that, but we want to explore, all the islands, so we need to rent a car. But I don't need it for 7 days. We're going to rent it for 1 or 2 days, go explore those 2 days the islands. The other days, we're just sitting on beaches like this and enjoying that. So you got to think about that when you're kind of weighing your options. That's why sometimes taking the taxi in from the airport to your hotel or your accommodation and just doing that is cheaper than renting a car, because you're like, wait, you're not going to use the car the first 2 or 3 days because you're on the beach. Maybe it is better to take the taxi and it actually saves you money in the long run. So you kind of have to think about that, especially your family with 4, because you can get 4 people in the car with a taxi driver. That is something to think about. And that's why sometimes what we do is ask your resort if they have a free shuttle, because the thing is, the free shuttle is great because it's free. But some of them have shuttles and then they'll charge you, $30 per person. Well, if it's $30 per person and it's only $40 for a taxi, why don't I find someone else that's going to the airport and try to get together and we can save money and go straight there by ourselves? So something to think about. Now, if you do have a car or you maybe just using a bus, another way you can save money when you're here is use the supermarkets. look, we're on islands, okay? So everything is going to be expensive here, whether it is food, accommodation, normal toiletries, things like that. It's going to be higher prices. So know that, all right? But if you're here, maybe you don't need to go eat at the restaurant every single time. Maybe you have an apartment that has a kitchenette and you can, cook your lunch there, make sandwiches or make your breakfast. Hit up the local supermarket. It's going to be a lot cheaper to buy food there and make it your hotel or your apartment than it is, going out to eat. And the thing is, I know a lot of people are like, I'm on vacation, I don't want to cook. That's fine. Just get some prepared stuff, get some snacks. Because even if you're just buying your Doritos and stuff like that out in the supermarkets and bringing it back, that can save you 10 or 15 bucks here and there just on snacks, okay? So you want to think about those things. And the thing is, though, don't expect the supermarkets to be super cheap. They're going to be probably more expensive than back home because, again, we're on islands. But it will be cheaper than getting stuff at the store at the all-inclusive resort. Like, oh my goodness, the prices are a lot higher at the resort than they are off resort. And the thing is, if you have cash, it gives you a chance to negotiate. That's my next tip when you're here. Negotiate and look for deals. Now, when you go to stores in the Caribbean, you're not really negotiating too much. You're probably not. There's a price tag you just pay. You go to the supermarket, you pay the price there. But if you're going to the markets or you're looking to get, some islands, if you're going to be getting, activities on the water, they might say one price, you're supposed to negotiate a bit. So just have some negotiation skills ready to go. And the thing is, don't get upset with the negotiations. That's how business is done sometimes here, okay? But you just have to know when you can negotiate and when you can't negotiate. And another thing is with the negotiation, I kind of look at it also is look for some deals. Because sometimes resorts might give you deals like, oh, if you sign up for a week, we'll give you an extra day. If you sign up for our higher level room, we'll give you free breakfast. And that can add up. I mean, we ended up getting free breakfast here at the place we're staying at, and that saved us quite a bit of money because it's $22 for anyone 13 and over to eat. So that's 3 over 13s plus Liam, who's free. So that's $66 for breakfast. Oh my goodness. But now they gave us that little deal. It's free. Man, that's $66 in my pocket every day we're eating. We're on a 5th day of breakfast. Hey, I'm saving a plane ticket right there. So do look for those deals. Now, another thing I think is important in terms of looking at helping save your budget when you're coming to the Caribbean really comes down into looking at what island you're going to go to. Because some islands, all the islands are pricey. I'm going to say that. But some are more pricey than other ones. Like if you're going to Turks and Caicos, that is just more pricey overall than if you're going to a place like Jamaica or Puerto Rico or something like that. So do your research into the island you want to go to, because you might see that one's a little bit more pricey. Is there one similar to it that I could go to that's not going to be as pricey? So do your research on that. And it could be like, look, we're going to the Cayman Islands. It is one of the more expensive ones. But where we're going to stay there, we've got 7 Mile Beach right there. There's shopping right next to it. There's a mini bus stop right outside, so I don't need to rent a car. So it's a little bit more money for my rental. But the thing is, I'm saving money and not having to go to the other places and pay for a rental car. So it kind of, adds up or adds down, I guess you'd say. So do your research on which island is going to be right for you, because some are better for divers, some are better for families, some are better for snorkel, some are better for history. So you want to kind of think about that in terms of what you want to do, okay? And then, of course, to finish off, you have your usual budget helpers when you are traveling, right? You look for, like I talked about the deals I said before, but for lunchtime specials and things like that. Another one I'd say is look at when you're going to come. If you're going to come here during, from Christmas to New Year's and around then, it's going to be a lot higher priced if you come in early December, right? So you want to make sure you can look at your time frames when you can go to avoid the really peak times, because that can make it a bit more expensive, obviously. And one we actually used is look at various days when you can fly in. No, I know, you'll think it's vacation time. I'm leaving Saturday morning and we're coming back Sunday night. Well, yeah, you get the most bang for your buck in terms of your time frame. But one thing you have to realize is those plane tickets on those days might be significantly higher. We flew in on a Thursday and we're leaving on a Tuesday, and just doing that saved us $300 per ticket. So for the 4 of us, that's $1,200 we saved by not going Saturday to Saturday, but instead going Tuesday to Thursday. So think about that when you're looking for your dates, if you're looking to save a little money, because it will add up over time. And that's why I wanted to give you these budget tips, because I want people to visit the Caribbean. It's a fantastic place to go for all ages. It is really fun, but it is really pricey. So I hope this helps you understand a few tips to help you save some money on your next Caribbean vacation. And today we're on the highway that actually goes from Ocho Rios to Kingston here in Jamaica. And the thing is this road has taken a while to build, but the thing is it's made it so much easier to kind of get through Jamaica. And it made me realize we haven't done a video on Club Mobe or Club Kingston, probably two of the best things about flying in or out of Jamaica. Because the thing is, when you fly into Jamaica, the lines for the passport lines, I mean 2, maybe 3 hours long lines can happen. It's insane. There's lots of people, a lot of confusion. It can be a bit much for some travelers. So what's cool is at the Montego Bay airport and the Kingston airport, they actually have these clubs they have. So I'm going to talk about Club Mobe, okay? And what it is, it's a service that kind of guides you through immigration, guides you to get your bag, guides you to a little club, and helps you along your way. And it is super, super nice, okay? Because the biggest thing is it saves you hours of time at passport control and other stuff, okay? What'll happen is you need to book it before you go, and you'll print out your kind of form before you come. It has the instructions, what you need to do and all those things. The thing is though, you'll get off your plane. What's cool is they have a sign with your name on it saying Wolters family or Mark Wolters or whatever. And then they take you straight away. They take you and your group to the special line at customs. And when you get to customs, you'll see this huge long line, like insane long line going, oh my God, how long is that gonna take? And they're like, oh no, you're going to the Club Mobe line, which is the expedited service, and it takes you maybe 10 minutes to get through when it's kind of busy, which was awesome, okay? Then once they take you through, you grab your bags like normal, and then they take you to the Club Mobe, which is like it's like a lounge they have for you. And the lounge is really nice. It's got nice, like fresh treats in there. So you got sandwiches, we had cakes, there was some fruit. It has some beer, some rum punch, also non-alcoholic drinks for kids or for non-drinkers, which happens here in Jamaica. They had that for you. Wi-Fi was good when we were there too. And it gets air conditioned, so you're kind of nice and relaxed and kind of out of the craziness that is the airport. And what's cool is then they'll go and find your driver. If you have a driver that's picking you up, or if you're going to a hotel and they have like a shuttle there, they'll go talk to the shuttle people and get you set up, and they'll help you on your way, which is so nice. Now they also have one where you actually leave, because not everybody wants to do it both times. You might only want to do the arrival one or the departure one, depending on how much time you want to spend and things like that. So, but the departure one, what happens with that, you check in, so you'll check in like normal. You go to your Delta counter, get your tickets, get your stuff, your boarding passes, things like that, bags checked in, and then you'll see the representative for the Club Mobe, and you'll go to them and they'll take you to the departure lounge. Well, actually, first off, they'll help you, you go through security, and they'll help you go through, immigration and get your stamps and stuff like that. Then they take you to the departure lounge, which is nice because you get to have, the sandwiches and the drinks, the patties and stuff like that. All kinds of nice stuff there. Wi-Fi as well. And you get to relax in that nice, comfortable space. And then when it's time for your plane to start boarding or getting near boarding, they'll let you know so that you can head out on your way. And the thing is, it's just one of these things that you can pay a little money and you can get in, and it skips a lot of lines. Now, I'm not gonna say it's cheap, okay? At the time of filming in 2019, just getting the arrival one, it was $35 for an adult, and then $25 for 2 to 12-year-olds for the arrival. Departure was a little bit cheaper, like $30 and $20, because it's not as much of it's not as impactful, I would say. So you don't have to buy both. You can just get one for one way you want, and that's kind of a nice thing. But I will be honest, with the lines coming in, if it's just you or you got a small group or something like that, it is worth spending money to get that Club Mobe just to skip the insane lines so you can get in. Now, if you got plenty of time, no big deal. But if you're only coming for a weekend and you want to have a good time and you don't want to waste a couple hours of drinking rum punch and enjoying the beautiful beaches, you might want to look into it. So if you want to know, I put a link down below to give you an idea to kind of go there and see their stuff. If you want to sign up. They didn't pay me to do this. I don't get any money for this kind of stuff. I just wanted to let you know because, my God, we did it and it saves so many headaches. And honestly, if you're the kind of person that gets flustered at airports, it's a really good idea to get this because they really do help you at those flustering moments. So I hope that gives you a little idea of what Club Mobe is. There's also the Club Kingston you can do for the Kingston airport. That's also there. It's cheaper than the one in Montego Bay, but most likely you're gonna be flying to Montego Bay because that's where most tourists go. So just so you know, that option's out there. Anyway, I hope that helps you. If you want to learn more about coming to Jamaica, maybe the don'ts of all-inclusive resorts, the things that shock people about Jamaica, how great the people are, we have all kinds of videos on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all the social media kind of stuff. And if you like helpful little travel videos like this or more in-depth ones, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and you'll get new videos like this at least every Wednesday and Saturday. We've been doing that for like 5 years now, every Wednesday and Saturday, so you can count on us. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Have a great time here in Jamaica. Honestly though, that Club Mobe thing was worth every cent. Bye.